Hello Green Shoppers! Welcome once again to my channel. This is Sir Job and welcome to Sir Job TV. Para sa lahat po ng mga new explorers tsaka newly discovered pa lang po sa aking channel, please don't forget to subscribe and click notification bell for you to be updated with my future videos. So para sa umagang ito, let us continue to discuss the world of practical research 1. Again, ito po ay ang qualitative research. So ladies and gentlemen, our topic for this morning is parts of an interview protocol. Welcome to my video number 165. Good morning once again, Golden Jobbers. Today is June 23 of 2021 and today is Wednesday. Pero patuloy pa rin tayo magbibigay sa inyo ng meaningful discussions dito pa rin sa mundo ng Practical Research 1. So nabanggit ko na po sa inyo kanina na ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon is ang parts of an interview protocol na kung saan magagamit niyo ito kung if you are now doing research or having this Practical Research 1 na subject sa inyong senior high school or any interview endeavor that you will be going to have, magagamit nyo po ang parts na ito and of course, the sample interview protocol na ipapakita ko po sa inyo. So let's continue learning in this new normal. So here's a whiteboard ngayon. Makikita ninyo meron tayong 1, 2, 3, 4 at saka 5. Ito po yung tinatawag nating parts of an interview protocol na kung saan I will be also giving to you the sample interview protocol. So pag i-discuss ko ngayon ang number 1, that will also coincide to our letter A here kasi nilagyan ko siya ng label as an example also para mas maintindihan natin ang discussion. Okay, para mas easily we could be able to get kung papaano natin siya i-apply. By the way, this is actually a format no na fina-follow talaga. Criswell of 2007 ang ginamit po dito in presenting to you the kind of sample interview protocol. Okay, na kung saan magagamit niyo if you are teaching Practical Research 1 or if you are a student of this particular subject. So let's start in the basic information about the interview. So the first part talaga ng interview protocol is the basic information about the interview. By the way, let us recognize ourselves kasi researcher ka ha. So pag sinabi kong if you are the interviewer, you are actually the researcher. Pag ikaw ang interviewee, you are the participant. Okay, depende. Kung marami sila, okay, interviewees because they are the participants of your paper. Okay, so that's it. Pero kung ikaw talaga ang researcher, you will also act as an interviewer. Okay, on the process of the conversation because we are now taking into getting the data. So in qualitative research, this is one way of getting our data from our participants. So by means of interview. So basic information about the interview, it includes the time and the date of the interview, okay, where the interview takes place and who the participants to be interviewed are, kung marami sila. So the most important things na ating iti-take note dito sa number 1 is ang date, location, and the name of the person that you are going to be interviewed. So, nakalagay dito time and date. So, of course, you have to signify anong oras ang interview, anong araw ang interview magaganap. Okay? So, saan? Where? Where the interview takes place. So, the location. You have to state here sa sample interview protocol that I'm showing to you. Okay? So, the next one is who are or who the participants to be interviewed are. Sino-sino sila. Kung marami po ang i-interview mo, so you have to state their names here. Pero kung isa lang ang conversation, just like here sa ating example, so you just simply state the name of the person that you are going to be interviewed. So ganun po ang pinaka first step talaga, you will have to take or to get the information. This is basic, okay? This is also a call na siya ang i-interview ko sa araw na ito, sa oras na ito, sa lugar na ito, sila ang aking kakausapin. Okay, let's continue the discussion sa second one, which is the introduction. Here, this provides instructions to the interviewer which will serve as his or her guide in conducting the session. It is a prerequisite that the interviewer introduce himself or herself, including the objectives of the research. So, dalawa ang kailangan natin dito. Very important. Accordingly, prerequisite po talaga na you have to introduce yourself. As an interviewer of that particular conversation, you should have to introduce yourself. And also, as a researcher, you have to state the objectives of your research. Very important na aware po si participant sa goal natin, sa objective natin. Ano ba ang sadya mo? Why are you here? That should be answered in step number 2. So, example natin dito sa letter B, makikita ninyo sa screen, nakalagay dito as an example, good morning, Mr. Juan de la Cruz. So, si Juan de la Cruz po ay ating participant in this particular example. My name is Mr. Greg Addis and I am presently conducting a research about grade 11 students' experiences in their basic calculus class. The objective of this study is to gather empirical data and understand their experiences. So yun po ang ating statement. Para maintindihan, i-justify ko sa inyo. So si Juan de la Cruz again is our participant in this particular example. Si Greg naman po, siya ang ating researcher or interviewer at the same time. Kaya nakalagay dito, nag-state siya ng kanyang pangalan, my name. So after talking to the participant, inintroduce niya ngayon ang kanyang pangalan. So kung na-observe niyo sa ating example, and here, as we continue reading the example, nakalagay dito, the objective of this study. Okay, in-emphasize niya talaga to gather empirical data, observation or experiences sa kanilang basic calculus class. So yun po ang sadya o kinig Greg in that particular conversation or interview. Okay, so nag-guess ninyo, in-emphasize niya talaga ito sa kanyang participant. So, klaro na po, nagkaroon na po ng conversation or nag-start na po ang conversation ni participant at saka ni interviewer or ni researcher. Okay, let's continue the interview. So, number 3 naman, opening question. Okay, dito na magsisimula ang tanungan between the participant and the interviewer. Okay, this is about getting to know the participants so they will feel at ease. Okay, questions related to their work or activities are good opening questions. Very personal questions must be avoided. Okay, klaro po, getting to know the participant. I can remember one of the videos of Cara David kasi I am a follower of Cara David also. So, sinabi niya talaga doon sa kanyang video na before you have to start the conversation or any interview na gagawin mo, you have to let or to get the trust of the participant, okay, or the interviewee. Kailangan talaga magkaroon siya ng connection sa iyo. Hindi yung meron pa siyang uncomfortability on the conversation, so kailangan makontrol yan lahat before you are going to start the conversation. So ito yung sinasabi sa ating step number 3 ngayon. Para ma-feel at ease yung participant sa iyo, so kailangan magkaroon talaga ng getting to know each other, okay, before going further with a Q&A. So accordingly, ang starting line or the opening entry of your question and answer is kailangan tanungin mo siya about sa kanyang buhay, work, activities, ano ang nagpapalibang sa kanya sa mga panahon ngayon, especially that we are facing pandemic, for example. So ano ang mga pinagkakaabalahan ng taong ito? Okay, that's the good opening question that you are going to raise in the conversation. Not ask question na too personal already. Okay? Yung mga tanong na kailan ka unang nahalikan, kailan ka first na in love or whatsoever, that's unrelated to your study already. So please do not ask question that is too personal already sa iyong participant, or else mawawalan siya ng gana in the interview session. So you have to ask mga activities or job. Kumusta sa trabaho ngayon in the pandemic? Papaano nyo ginawa ang inyong work? So something like that as an opening entry entry of your Q&A to your participant. Okay, that's how you are going to open. Now, let's see the example. Here's the letter C, which is the opening question. Nakalagay dito sa ating researcher, sabi niya, tell me something about yourself, Mr. Juan de la Cruz. So, tinanong niya ngayon ang kanyang participant. Pwede mo bang i-share something about yourself, Mr. Juan de la Cruz? So, of course, in the conversation, magsasalita talaga si Mr. Juan de la Cruz. So, nakalagay dito, kung makikita nyo sa screen, provide spaces for taking notes in case audio will have a problem. So, this is very important also. Pag nag-conduct ka po ng interview, okay, in any interview na gagawin mo, kailangan talaga you have to inform the participant that you will be recording the interview session. Kasi may mga punto kasi sa mga sagot ng ating participants na hindi natin kayang ma-take note. In that fast track of conversation, hindi natin ma-take note yung iba. So very important that you are recording also the interview. But before you are going to do that, you should inform the participant first. Kailangan alam niya that you are recording the interview. Pero dito sa ating example, nakalagay provide spaces because aside from the audio na nag-record ka or audio material na ginamit mo, you should also have to take note. As far as my experience here, kasi ang estudyante namin sa Agusan High Practical Research 1, 6 silang magkakandak ng research na ganito. Yung isa magre-record, yung isa magdodocue sa interview, at saka yung other members, ang trabaho talaga nila is to take note the conversation. Kasi usually, kung ikaw lang mag-isa ang magti-take note sa conversation, mahihirapan ka rin kunin ang lahat. So that is why strategy of other researchers, especially kung grupo ang research na ito, marami po talaga ang nagti-take note in the conversation. To compare, okay, para makuha talaga nila ang holistic answer coming from the participant. Kasi it's a no-no naman na iulit-ulit mo yung linya. Like for example, hindi mo na isulat lahat tapos sasabihin mo na naman sa participant, can you repeat your answer? Okay, that's hilarious already, diba? Hindi naman natin kayang i-repeat ang ating sagot in that exact line. So, very important talaga na the first time isinagot ito ng participant, you have to document everything. Okay, so that's it. So, hindi pa tayo tapos sa conversation. Nag-follow up pa po si Greg sa kanyang Q&A. So, sabi niya dito sa example, how long have you been studying here? Okay, that's the follow-up question coming from, or the second question coming from the opening question. Okay, so, same process. Nag-provide pa rin siya ng space for taking notes in case audio will have problems. So, ganun pa rin yung procedure. So, this is how your sample interview protocol would look like. Ganyan siya. Okay, the format is like that. Okay, let's proceed to the content questions. Kasi yung diniscuss ko sa inyo kanina is pambungad yon. Okay, kumbaga, para magkaroon ka na ng connection or makapagsimula ka na talaga sa Q&A, yun ang gagawin mo. Okay, but here's a portion na ito, the content questions, you really have now to dig kung ano yung talagang tanong na dapat mong erase with your study in particular. Okay, so these are sub-questions based on the central phenomenon being studied. Highlight natin ha, central phenomenon being studied. So nakafocus na ang mga katanungan mo ngayon sa study mo talaga, the objective of your study. So dito sa example letter D, makikita natin sa content questions, ang unang tinanong talaga ni Greg, okay, sa kanyang content question is nagsimula talaga siya sa experience ng participant. Okay, sabi niya dito ngayon, tell me about your basic calculus class. So ngayon, he allow, okay, the participant to share freely kung ano experience niya sa kanyang basic calculus class. Of course, anything na mag-come up sa answer ng kanyang participant, doon din manggagaling ang second question ni Greg in the conversation. Okay, nakuha nyo? Yun ang ibig sabihin. So, right after sumagot si Juan de la Cruz sa kanyang first question, nagkaroon ng follow-up question. Makikita nyo sa whiteboard ngayon, sabi niya, why do you say so? Okay? So, nag-follow up na naman si Mr. Juan de la Cruz sa kanyang answer kasi nagkaroon ng follow-up question coming from the researcher. Aside from that, nag-support na naman ng another question si Greg. What do you mean by difficult? Okay, to understand, ano ang difficult sa iyo or how are you going to define difficult? For example, so kung makikita nyo ngayon sa whiteboard, this is the main question na ni-raise ni Greg sa kanyang participant. Sinundan niya ngayon ng why. Okay, why do you say so? Okay? And then sinundan pa niya, prove question mo to. The third question is your prove question, which is to explore very thoroughly pa talaga doon sa Q&A. Okay, kaya sabi niya, what do you mean by difficult? So, yan ang conversation. So, itong follow-up question na ito, pwede mo itong dagdagan. Kaya dito, naka-line siya pababa, kung makikita ninyo, kasi dinagdagan ni Greg ang kanyang question. Sabi niya, can you provide concrete examples? Okay. From this particular question, humingi siya ngayon ng concrete examples para at least masupport niya sa kanyang kailangan na data. Basically, sa interview, nakadepende sa iyo kung paano mo i-craft ang question depending on the need of your paper. So that is the reason why you really have to craft the question na expected ang lalabas na sagot ay kailangan mo sa iyong research. So since natapos nyo na ang Q&A sa content questions, let us now proceed sa number 5, which is the closing instructions. Nakalagay dito, thank the interviewee for his or her time. Do not forget to say thank you to your participant. Okay, magpasalamat ka for the time given. Other researchers, mga other interviewers, nagdadala talaga sila ng something, pagkain, snacks, or whatever sa kanilang participant. Because of course, that will also motivate them to answer properly with your question. Okay, kasi wala naman, parang walang gana or motivation kung wala kang dadalihin something for them. So that is why other researchers talaga, especially in the qualitative, magdadala talaga sila ng something for the participant. Okay? But aside from that, kahit may dala ka ng pagkain for them, do not forget to say thank you. This is your closing instructions now. Magpasalamat ka for your interviewee for the time given. Kasi oras niya yan, no? Pero binigay niya sa iyo for that particular conversation. So we have here the example para makuha ninyo ang guide. How are you going to craft your closing instructions? So according to our researcher, sabi niya, thank you very much. You have to acknowledge, close open parenthesis ako dito, you have to acknowledge the participant. Kung grupo sila, mention the group, mention the section, mention the people, okay, na tinanong mo, na in-interview mo, okay? Thank you very much, mention them. So, period. I would like you to know that I am the only one who will have access to this audio material. And after the research, the content will be erased. You have to emphasize this one na in the Privacy Act, na you have to emphasize kasi data nila to eh. Especially if the topic is too sensitive enough, like for example, victim of rape, mga karahasan or whatsoever, that is very sensitive topic. So that is the reason why you should inform the participant na ikaw lamang ang tanging makakarinig nito, and right after ma-take note mo ang information, you are going to delete the audio material, okay, or the recording in the conversation. Very important yan kasi that's my property and we have here Privacy Act, okay? Pwede kitang kasuhan kung ilabas mo yan without my consent. So that is the reason why you inform the participant that right after you take note everything sa record, you will be deleting that particular audio recording. Okay, nakuha ninyo? So yan, so in-inform talaga ni researcher ang kanyang participant sa portion na ito kung makikita ninyo. Continue. If you wish to have a copy of the abstract of this research, I would be very willing to send you one. So you should also inform your participant na baka gusto nyo yung kumuha ng copy of your research, of the abstract of the research, for example, before ito maipublish or maisubmit, you can also do that one to your participant. Sabihin mo, I can give you a copy if you want to access my research. Okay, para ma-feel niya talaga na legit ang information, na hindi mo dadagdagan, hindi mo kukulangan yung information in the conversation. Okay, that is one also of the ethical in research na ma-inform talaga natin. We are transparent to our participant. Okay? Yan ang pinaka-importanting dapat ninyong maintindihan in the interview protocol. So, pinaka-last portion is sabi ng researcher sa kanyang participant, do you have any question? So you have to ask the participant, do you have any question? So kung wala na siyang tanong sa conversation, that ends the interview session. So that will be all for this morning. I hope you learned something from this video and I hope that you will share this video to your friends and to anybody else that you think nangailangan ng video na ito. Asahan niyo po that Sir Job TV will continue to discuss more meaningful discussions, especially in the world of social sciences. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye!